At least 9 dead in Myanmar as police open fire with live rounds across several cities.
Here's a summary of the article.
Police in Myanmar opened fire on protesters in several cities on Wednesday with live rounds, witnesses and local media reported, killing at least 9 people and leaving many others wounded. The 9 protesters were shot dead during separate agitations in different cities, including Mandalay, Yangon, Myingyan and Monywa. The soldiers have been using tear gas, stun guns, grenades and rubber bullets as well to disperse the protesters, but they have been defying the military and returning to the streets every day to protest against the 1st of February military coup. At least 18 protesters were killed by security personnel on Sunday, in some of the worst violence in the country following the takeover. Some of the neighboring countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines and Singapore have been demanding that Myanmar's military release Aung San Suu Kyi and other political leaders who were detained after the coup and exercise restraint against the use of lethal force against unarmed protesters. Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong called the use of lethal force by Myanmar's military against unarmed protesters disastrous and unacceptable. Since the 1st of February, protests have continued across Myanmar despite the use of lethal force by security forces.
This post received a score of 72,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
At least 9 dead is just for today too. It's 35-ish people killed in total so far. I have colleagues there and they reckon it's much more skeptical smiley face.
Several friends were covering behind concrete walls and staying clear of windows. Edit. Latest confirmed death count as of 9:30 p.m. was at least 24 people killed across the country today. Edit 2. Latest confirmed death count as of this morning equals 38 people killed across the country yesterday. Weapons experts have verified that military and police forces fired 9mm submachine guns into unarmed crowds of protesters. Were the military expecting this level of resistance from the public? Seems like they've been having trouble keeping order in the aftermath of the coup. They were definitely underestimating the public response, almost as if they expected the country to be the same as it was a decade ago. In the meanwhile, Myanmar has undergone rapid development, and most young people belong to the same internet generation as the rest of the world. Social media is still flourishing despite the regular internet shutdowns. Spreading news of what's going on to the rest of the world definitely helps.
So is the military full of loyalists, or how can this situation be solved without foreign interference?
As some foreign analysts have commented, Myanmar is more like an army with a country than it's a country with an army. Seriously, there are numerous groups here with more armed fighters than most mid-sized European nations. The United Var-State Army has more soldiers than the Netherlands, and they are armed with high-tech Chinese weaponry. In one example, 8 soldiers deserted and joined the Karen National Liberation Army instead.
So are those rebel army groups fighting the Myanmar army?
Most are. However, some have entered ceasefires in the past, some have been turned into proxy military or border guard forces, some have been turned into local militias. They also fight each other for control of territory and or various illegal businesses. Right now, there's heavy fighting in northern Shan state between various members of the Northern Alliance on one side, and the Tatmadaw and Restoration Council of Shan state on the other. Thousands of people have been forced to flee their villages. This conflict has been ongoing for years, but has grown in intensity over the past month.
Do you know what started this unrest?
The various armed conflicts? Well, every tribe and ethnic group wants independence. The British made promises of ethnic federalism before decolonization, but it didn't happen and the ethnic majority, Burmese, assumed power. Fighting ongoing ever since.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.